Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Teresa's Crafty Cabana. I'm going to be using several different mediums on my gel plate today to make some fun prints. And to start with, I'm using these alcohol inks. This is my 8x10 gel plate. And I'm just dropping in a first layer of the boysenberry purpley color, and then I'm dropping in some colors that I can blend over the purple, so some blues and some yellows to create oranges and a little bit of purple. Once I've got a nice amount of color mixed, I let it dry just a little, and then I used some 91% alcohol in a spray bottle, in this case a mini mister, to kind of re-wet the alcohol inks, and then I put my stencil over the top, and now I am using a piece of tissue paper to remove any of the ink in between the stencil design. The design was quite light, so I thought I would try layering another stencil over the top, spraying the mini mister alcohol over that. And then I can use my tissue paper to remove any of the extra alcohol ink. This removed a lot of the design, but it did leave behind a really cool impression of that second stencil. I took the first stencil, laid it back down, and this time I'm going to use my pan pastels to create just a variation of colors around these flower petals. Some of it will be green and blue, and some of it will be the pinks and purples and oranges. I wanted a really colorful background. I was just in the mood for just vibrant colors. I'm going to be using these prints in a project coming up that I will be sharing for the members only page for that video. So if you're interested to see how I use these gel prints, check out the memberships, but that's where I'm going to be posting the video on what I use these jelly prints for. I am blending these colors so they blend together so nicely with this makeup brush, and the colors go on so smooth. I really love these pan pastels. They've been a really fun way to add this bright color without being painty. It's not very messy, just a little powdery, that's all. And now I have my perfect pearls. You know, I love my perfect pearls, and I haven't mixed them with my pan pastels yet, so I did want to see how these perform in comparison to the metallic pan pastels that came in one of my sets. I am using the purple, the orange, it's like a rose gold and a gold. I've got my golden fluid acrylics, and I've got the zinc white, the phthalo blue, and the teal. I'm actually just using my 2-inch sprayer to kind of blend these colors to create one new color. I am swirling the paint around just to make sure they mix nicely, and then I came in with a larger brayer to brayer out the leftover paint. For all of my prints today, I am using the Nina White cardstock 110 pound. And I do let each of my prints dry thoroughly in between. I think each of them were drying for at least 20 minutes. Some of them I left on for a little bit longer. This one is nice and bright. The colors are a little muted against the blue, so I wanted to try again with the alcohol inks over what was left of the pan pastels. And this time I'm going to have it be a lighter like a white to pull this print instead of a darker color like the blue. So I'm doing the same thing where I'm mixing up my alcohol inks together just until I get a nice amount of coverage over the gel plate. And what's neat about the second generation of the pan pastels is that they don't disappear or get ruined when I put the alcohol ink over them. Usually, like with paint, alcohol inks don't do well over acrylic paints. While the alcohol is still a little bit wet, I am using my textures just to create some interest in the background. And what's really fun is when you dip your texture in one part of the design and move it over to another, it transfers that color to another side. Once it dried, I added my white. This is the zinc white. And the nice thing about this is it kind of pulls those colors from the alcohol inks. And so you're not left with a pure white. It kind of fills in with a color. So here's my next print. This one's nice and vibrant, and it is a second generation of that pastel, but you can see that those colors are still looking pretty nice. I didn't clean my gel plate off, so instead what I did was I put black paint down, and I know that at this point I probably won't get much more out of the pan pastels on the gel plate. It's more like stained on there until I clean it off with my baby oil. So I figured I would just layer on top of that and use my black to create some dramatic color. So I'm removing some of that black with my textures because I want that color to show through behind the black. The black is now mostly dry, so I'm just kind of pressing with whatever little bit of texture I can. Once it's completely dry, I put the zinc white down again. And now I'm removing some of that, the black and the white layer, by pressing in with the tissue paper over this stencil. This is a stencil that I got from Journal Say recently. I did a video review on Journal Say. They sell kind of like journaling supplies. But of course, I'm a jelly printer, so I picked out a lot of stencils and stamps, in addition to some of their journaling washi tapes. This texture is also from Journal Say. It's a 3D embossed folder. And this is another 3D embossed folder with a floral design and some text that say thank you. After that dried, I brought some of my pan pastel metallics. This is the gold and the copper. I wanted to stick to the warm colors because that was the most similar to the perfect pearl colors that I was using. And then I decided to add all these colors around all of those open areas where the gel plate was exposed. I'm using my zinc white once again. And I'm spraying it with some 91% alcohol. I just wanted to see if this did anything to add to my print. I was hoping for maybe some texture from the alcohol. So you can see how dramatic this one looks because of the black against those bright colors. And if I tilt it in the light, you can kind of see where the previous layer of the pan pastel florals are, but it's mostly washed away. For the next print, I am using a makeup sponge and my same stencil with the honeycomb design. And I'm actually dabbing, I have a second jelly plate off to the side where I have some of that zinc white. I'm dabbing the zinc white, then I'm dropping some alcohol ink colors, and then dabbing some more of the zinc white and just blending it through all of those openings. The cool part about this that I wasn't really expecting, but that I really liked, is that the alcohol ink kind of blends or bleeds underneath the stencil. And as it does that, it still holds on to some of the design, but then you've got the white where the areas are dabbed on with the makeup sponge. This was a really fun process for me, just adding the white and seeing the colors just blend together. I was picking colors that I knew would blend nicely. I'm using some metallics this time. I've got the Pearl Violet, and then that's by Amsterdam, and I've got this bright gold. This is Master's Touch, which is Hobby Lobby. To kind of spread these colors around the page, I'm basically just brayering with a 4-inch brayer in all of the different areas until I have a little bit of both of the metallics all over the page, and then I blended it out smoothly. And here's my final jelly print. I think this one looks so cool. I really love how the gold looks with this one. So this is the first print that I did with the bold blue in the background, where you can really see those perfect pearls. And you can see those pan pastels as well. They're just a little more muted, especially with the blue colors. Here's the dramatic black against all the colors. This one is also the one that I used the pan pastel metallics, the gold and the copper. And I love how this one looks, the colors on that one. And here is the one with the second generation of the pan pastels with the alcohol inks in the back of that and the textures. And then I've got this beautiful print with the honeycomb design, the bright gold that picks up all those kind of like in between the honeycombs, and then the alcohol ink that bled underneath the stencil. I love that one. I think that one's my favorite out of all of these, although they're all so fun. I just love bright and colorful, happy jelly prints like these. So I can't wait to make my little project out of them, and I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope this inspires you to try different mediums together on your jelly plate, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and happy crafting, y'all!